Alright guys, this is it. The big one. The final Sarah Jane Adventures episode. The Man Who Never Was. This was the final episode which had finished production before the tragic news of Elizabeth Sladen's passing. So you can tell the makers had to work really hard on this episode to make sure that this episode serves as a decent, happy end to the show, which has touched the hearts of so many people. Hey, BAFTA Awards winner of the children's television, guys. Now, as a finale episode, this is, I'm sorry to say, this is not the best story to end on. But it's still a lot of fun, and I definitely recommend it. Luke Smith returns to Bannerman Road. At the time, a new product, known as the Surfboard, has its launch, and Sarah Jane has been invited. But there appears to be something wrong with the Surf's promoter, Joseph Surf. So it's up to Sarah Jane, Luke, Sky and the rest to find out the truth. Whilst inside, they come across a bigger conspiracy than they expected. I guess for a final episode, it is nice to see everyone come together for one final ride. Well, except K9, Maria and her dad, since they are part of the show. I guess one of the good things about this episode is definitely the relationship between our characters. Sarah Jane with her family, with Harrison, with the journalist guy, Clyde and Ronnie's relationship, but I especially love Sky and Luke's relationship in this episode. Sure, Sky is still bland as ever, but I have to give her credit for the scenes with Luke. It actually feels like a proper brother and sister relationship, and at least Sky manages to show emotion around the Scullions. I guess Sinead Michael really works well in serious dramas. And speaking of the Scullions, I like these designs. They look like small monks wearing technician helmets, and underneath they have heads of a cyclops. Sweet. I did think they were going to be evil henchmen of some kind, but by the time part 2 came up, we find out that they're not bad guys, they are slaves to the main villain. Plus, we get Dan Starkey in this episode. Yeah, the Sontaran Master himself is in this episode of the Sarah Jane Adventures, and this was before he became a hobgoblin in the show that took over. And as always, he's enjoyable as ever. Joseph Surf makes me laugh, and not just because he is a hologram, but for a stereotypical charismatic charmer, he is humorous. It's a clever idea to have a good looking face be the selling point of a rubbish looking product. John Harrison is an asshole in a suit, definitely. Just name any of the villains in the Iron Man trilogy. That is the character of John Harrison. And to give this episode credit, it's nice for the show to end with a human villain holding aliens for slaves, when most of the time the show only has its aliens holding humans as slaves, or aliens in human disguises. This is different. Harrison also makes me laugh. Not by how melodramatic he is, but how comically strict he is. Just look at this scene where he offers Sarah Jane some refreshment, and don't get me started with the hitting me with the handbag joke. We also get an episode of Sarah Jane and Ronnie, of some sort, into journalism at long last. We also get to meet another member of journalism, Lionel Carlson, who says he is an old friend of Sarah Jane. I don't think he appeared in the classic series, but I actually like this character. I just wish we got a little bit more of him in this episode. But yeah, this story is not that much good for a final episode. And yeah, some of the comedy scenes are a little bit stale or unfunny. It feels more of a standard episode rather than the finale, but you can't blame them for that. Plus, there is this one girl, sure she has more personality than Sky, but in the end she is recommended for UNIT. Why? What is it that she has done that makes you think, oh yeah, hire her for UNIT? I guess you could say because she sees the good in the alien race, and that's fine, but just do more than that. But still, that's just a little nitpick, and she is a good, decent character. I know some people consider Clyde and Ronnie acting like a married couple, actually feels like they are a couple, and yeah, I can consider that, but honestly, I believe that they felt more like a couple in Series 4 than this one. I just think it was done at the last minute. Don't get me wrong, I am glad that they are a couple, but I would have liked it if it was done right. But that's just a major nitpick. And that was The Man Who Never Was. So, what do I think of it? I thought the episode was average. Not great, not terrible, just average. Even though it could have been a lot better or a lot worse, I think it's passable. I don't think this is the groundbreaking finale they were going for. I mean, they had no choice. But at the same time, we didn't get a bad episode. We've got our favourite characters coming together, we got some laughs, We still got some creative designs and some nice visual effects, decent acting, and a cute storyline, and at least this show ended on a happy note. Plus, the episode takes place in the Atrium University in Cardiff, which is actually where I go to study animation in university. So I guess it's nice that the series ends in the place of where I study. And I have actually been inside all the room locations, the reception, the office, the exterior, and the theatre. So I'm gonna give it props for that. I guess I should talk about the montage, since this is what everyone talks about. They say it's one of the good things about this episode, and yes, it is. I would say that this montage serves as a reward to say thank you for sticking with Sarah Jane in her adventures. And as someone once said, life on Earth can be an adventure too, and the story goes on forever. And folks, that was the entire Sarah Jane Adventures marathon. Thank you guys so much for joining me and looking over some of the classic and memorable moments of the show. I'm sure you've got your own opinion about these stories, and if so, please let me know in the comment section below. Get out there, share your thoughts, and hear what other people have to say. But be sure to keep a lookout for 2 more videos to come. My top 10 favourite Sarah Jane adventures and my top 6 untold stories. As long as the stories goes on forever, Sarah Jane and her adventures will never be forgotten. Thank you so much for joining me, and take care of yourself. See you later.